When I uploaded that video I made about the Afghani child, I didn't realise that I was doing so during Islamophobia Awareness Month. Did you know that we have a whole month to be aware of Islamophobia? I'm Granniopteryx. I'm on YouTube, Rumble, BitChute and Minds. So I don't know whether the appearance of this in my X feed just a couple of days ago has anything to do with Islamophobia Awareness Month. But anyway, it cropped up. And I thought it was rather interesting, not only because of this woman here, who's spouting a lot of violent, genocidal rubbish, but this woman here, who is absolutely frozen in place and hardly moves. In fact, I don't think she does move through the entire clip. And I have my theories about why. Anyway, to set the scene, the woman on the left, she's referring to the burning of tyres. And since that was happening on a pretty regular basis in Gaza just over 2 years ago, I'm assuming that that's when this was filmed. Now, she's obviously talking to an Arab journalist, so it's quite possible that she's bigging things up for home consumption. So anyway, here, let's hear what she has to say. Oh, and by the way, if you're not in a position to see the screen, if you're just listening to this, I'm going to read out the subtitles, so you can relax. Okay? She said, I tell young men and women, burn as many tyres as you can. Even the older women are ready to go to the fence and fight with the Jews. You see, this woman here, she's not a diplomat. She is saying what Hamas says. She is the voice of Hamas. You may notice that even though it looks quite hot, you see those men over there, the Hamas men, they're quite lightly dressed. And despite the fact that she is shrouded in black fabric, she also feels it necessary to wear a Hamas type scarf round her neck. She must be really suffering in there, and good is all I can say. And that woman there, now, let's just listen to this person a little more, and I'll talk about this woman. Let's carry on. We roll the tyres towards the dirty Jews so we can burn them. All impure Jews are dogs. They should be burnt. They are dirty. Now, apart from anything else, those tyres wouldn't roll very far because there was a fence there. That's one of the reasons the Israelis had a fence. So all that genocidal, racist rubbish, the voice of Hamas, is a lot of violence and pointlessness. And perhaps that's what her companion is thinking as she's looking at her, but not daring to say anything. Because she knows that if she said anything, this woman would turn on her and would probably bring along a few friends as well. And that woman there, ladies and gentlemen, that woman is us. Yes, you and me. Well, okay, maybe not you and me, but a lot of people. Every time we're shut down by talk of Islamophobia, we are in the position of that woman there. We look on, we think this person here is spewing destruction and death. But if I say a word about this, she's going to make mincemeat of me. And that's where we're stuck. We're aware of the evil of it, but we're frozen in silence while that ranting is going on. I said before, she is the voice of Hamas. Well, she's also the voice of a lot of imams, and I'm not talking about imams in Gaza. I'm talking about imams in this country. Every week, this very stuff hits the ears of the congregations attending Friday Mosque in this country. We know all about it. Years ago, Channel 4 did a whole film about it. Obviously, when the imams come out with this, there will be many in the congregation who'll agree. But there'll be many who, like this woman here on the right, will sit and listen with expressionless faces, holding their own private doubts, but not speaking up about it because they don't dare. And that's all right if that's what they want to do. But among them, there are the children. And these sorts of words will hit the impressionable brains of children like somebody throwing a match into a tin of kerosene. And if recent events have taught us anything, it's that young men, barely out of childhood, and in one recent notable case, still in childhood, if we've learnt anything, we should have learnt that this sort of talk is not good for the safety of children. Any children. And just like that woman sitting with her fist in front of her mouth, governments, it's not just this government, they've been doing it for years, look on and say nothing. And to make themselves feel better about it, tell us to do likewise. And that's because they're afraid. They're afraid of mobs of Muslim men turning out on the streets and starting a revolution. Keir Starmer's intemperate talk after the Southport incident, his talk about right-wing thugs induced a small army of Muslim men in Birmingham to rush through the streets like a tide, and they ended up beating an innocent bystander severely enough to put him in hospital with ruptured internal organs. This has been going on for a while. Starmer's government has handled it predictably badly, but the Conservatives weren't that much better. The fact is, the government, any government that we have at the moment, is simply terrified. And like that woman there, they sit, they watch, and they shut up. And they shut us up as well by threatening us with the stigma of Islamophobia, or at least their attempt to make Islamophobia a stigma. That picture there is exactly the situation we're in. It's exactly the situation our government is in. And as I keep saying, Labour isn't entirely to blame. The Conservatives are just as culpable in this case. The only difference being that at least the Conservatives weren't so dead set against the white working classes, which is a bit of an irony. I'm sure you'd agree with that. So yes, we do have a problem with Islamophobia. Not the opinion, but the word. Because it's a word used by governments to stop people from talking and to pretend nothing is happening when it evidently is. And Islamophobia is the actual epitome of fingers in the ears and la-di-da-di-dying. And the sort of language that woman there is coming out with is said by imams all the time. And we have to do something about it if we want to have a cohesive society in a few years. And sweeping it under the carpet might do a present government, well, might defer the problem from a present government to a future one. But when you sweep something under the carpet, sooner or later it starts to smell. However, I think I might have a solution for this. If an Islamophobia Awareness Month is going to be, well, part of our social calendar, part of our awareness as a society, how about following it up? How about following it up with a Kafirophobia Awareness Month? How about that? So, there's my idea for dealing with Islamophobia. Because when Muslims stop hearing the sort of stuff this woman came out with, which, as I said, is no more than many imams come out with every single Friday, if they stop that, then there won't be any need for a phobia anymore, will there? So, think about that. Till next time. You can help my channel by subscribing and clicking the notification bell. That's quite important. And by sharing if you're so inclined. Links to my other channels and to donation methods are in the description. But the best way you can help is simply by clicking like and notify. Thank you.